What remains of your career when you strip away the institutional polish, when you remove the performance reviews, the approval chains, the carefully worded emails designed to say nothing while appearing to say everything? What is actually left? Most professionals will never find out because most professionals are trapped in a cycle they were never taught to question, a cycle of seeking permission for every thought, every idea, every instinct that dares to deviate from the approved process. We call it professionalism. We call it best practice. We call it the way things are done around here. But there is another word for it: conditioning. And today we are unlearning it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a genuinely good idea at work and your first instinct was not to act on it, but to wonder whether someone above you would approve of it? If you felt that even slightly, you are not alone. And you are not weak. And you are not unambitious. You are conditioned. From the first day we enter the workforce, we are taught a very specific set of rules. Not written down anywhere. Never stated directly. But communicated clearly through every interaction, every meeting, every performance review. The rules go something like this: wait your turn. Follow the process. Don't move faster than the room is ready for. Make sure the right people are aligned before you proceed. On the surface, these sound like wisdom. And in certain contexts, they are. But here is what happens when you internalize them completely. You stop trusting yourself. You develop what psychologists call a compliance reflex, an automatic, subconscious habit of checking for external permission before taking any action that feels new, risky, or different. You don't even notice you're doing it. It feels like caution, like professionalism, like being a team player. But what it actually is a cage you have built inside your own mind. Here is where it gets more insidious. Because the compliance reflex does not just affect how you act. It affects how you measure your own worth. Think about the last time you felt genuinely good about your professional output. Really sit with that memory. Now ask yourself, was that feeling triggered by the work itself? By the quality of what you produced? By the problem you solved or the idea you executed? Or was it triggered by someone else's reaction to it? A manager's approval, a client's praise, a performance review that told you, officially, institutionally, that you were doing well. For most people conditioned by traditional employment, it was the second one. And that is the trap. When your sense of professional worth is outsourced to bureaucratic structures and hierarchical approval, you are no longer the author of your own value. You are a tenant living in someone else's definition of good enough. The organization becomes the gatekeeper of your self-esteem. And the organization, let me be very clear about this, was never designed to be responsible for your self-esteem. It was designed to be productive. Those are very different things. So, how do you break it? Not with motivation. Not with a morning routine. Not with a productivity system or a new set of goals. You break it with an audit. Specifically, an audit of the mental scripts you have been running on autopilot since the first day someone handed you an employee handbook. Here is what that audit looks like. Ask yourself why. What is the actual risk of moving forward without permission? Is the risk real, or is it the reflex? Ask yourself, when will the right time be? In 3 months? After the next restructure? After the person above you feels secure enough to hear a new idea? The right time is almost always now, and the reflex is almost always lying to you. Script 3. That's just the way things are done here. This is the most dangerous script of all, because it masquerades as wisdom while functioning as surrender. Every process that exists in your organization was invented by a person with incomplete information, under specific pressures, at a specific moment in time. That process is not law. It is not truth. It is a habit that calcified into policy. And you are more than allowed to question it. Here is the reframe that changes everything. Stop asking, am I following the process correctly? Start asking, is this process actually achieving the intended outcome? Those two questions look similar, but they produce completely different human beings. The first question produces compliance. The second question produces leadership. The first question keeps you safe inside the system. The second question makes you dangerous to mediocrity. When you begin to evaluate everything through the lens of outcome, your relationship with permission changes completely. You stop waiting to be told what to do. You start deciding what needs to be done. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's approval. You start measuring it by the actual impact of your work. That is not arrogance. That is not recklessness. That is what genuine professional autonomy actually feels like. And it is available to you the moment you decide to stop asking for permission to think. Everything they taught you about work was designed for a system that needed you compliant, not because the people who taught you were malicious, but because compliant people are easier to manage, easier to predict, easier to retain. The education system prepared you for employment. Employment reinforced what the education system taught, and somewhere in that loop your instincts got quieter, your confidence got outsourced. Your definition of success got borrowed from someone else's handbook. Breaking free from that is not a single moment. It is a daily practice. It is catching yourself reaching for permission and asking from whom and why. It is noticing when the process has become more important than the point and having the courage to say so out loud. It is rebuilding your sense of professional worth from the inside out, anchored in your own judgment, your own values, your own definition of impact. The 9-to-5 did not just take your time. It took your instincts. It is time to take them back. If this gave you language for something you have been feeling but couldn't articulate, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more honest conversations about the things the system never taught you to question. And drop a comment, what is one mental script you are ready to stop running? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.